Definitely. Nobody wants to speak anything or what? Okay, I'll take it like, nobody wants to talk. Okay, I can see something here, chat. Good, thank you, thank you. Here it is not even, I'm like at a better zone than you in terms of morning. I should be a bit more down than you guys. You people got up earlier than me. It's 9:15 here.
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. It's so nice to know that, I'm not talking to the screen. I'm talking to people. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
ma'am.
Yeah.
I
Thank
am
you.
Zartaj Fatima from Jazan University, Saudi Arabia.
Lovely, Zartaz. It's so nice. I'm in Muscat right now.
Thanks, ma'am, for lovely presentation.
Let's see.
We
Let me
need
start
this
it.
kind of
Hope you like
presentation.
it. Thank you.
We
Thank
need
you.
for publishing high-class journal this type of presentation. And thank you, MIT, for organizing so much lovely program. And Dr. Renu, ma'am.
MIT is rocking. MIT is rocking. And it's so nice to be associated with them in any way.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you for being here. All the best. I hope you like it.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. And it is a sheer pleasure to be associated with MIT. As I have already told you, it's like a family now, knowing Professor Dev, Vaishali, and, exchanging so many mails with so much going around here in my institution also. I'm working for the University of Bedfordshire in Muscat here, and I'm the program manager with definitely with the teaching and the chair of the faculty research committee responsibilities. It was such a nice introduction, Vaishali, thank you. But it was such a long thing, and as I told you earlier, that I always forget that in the process when you are actually working, you forget that what all you are doing. But it is so nice that I think in the teaching community, we should not be just stopping with teaching. It's very important to collaborate. It is very important to be in touch with other members of the teaching community in anywhere, in any part of the world. And right now, fortunately, unfortunately, because of this pandemic situation, we are getting so many other platforms to interact with people and researchers and students and fellow colleagues from all over the world. So thanks for being here. I hope you all will be benefited, because this is a kind of thing I'm sharing with you, which I have learned from my professors long back, 20 years back, which I have learned during my various trips, which by God's grace, I have been taking since so many years, and with my students, through my collaborators, researchers. So I hope I'll be telling you something, or I'll be talking to you, or we will be collaborating in a way which will be beneficial for all of you, and definitely at the end of the day for me also. So the agenda of the day is there in front of you. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm basically going to talk about or discuss with you that what are the what do you call important points or the issues which we should be taking care as a teaching community when we want to or intend to publish internationally, basically in the international journals. I'm going to go into the details, and this is not which I always knew. So it's so good that I have got a platform where I'm sharing what I have learned gradually in last 10 to 15 years. Then I'm going to talk about how to promote your publications, because this is a very, very important issue which we have to take care as an academician, as a professional, and as somebody who wants to be at each and every place, or knowing every issue being placed or located at one particular location. Then something which is very near to my heart, and something which uh, which helped me to grow as an academician, the case writing. And believe me, it is something which all of us should be doing. Case writing is something which is not only enhances our capability as a teacher, but it also enhances the pedagogy which we generally use in our classes, whether off, outside the classroom hours or inside the class. So I'm going to talk about that. I have some very interesting and very relevant exercises for you. For that, I am going to tell you to download few apps, very simple to use. We are going to look into it. And last but not the least, it is something which I didn't put forward into my, brief, but something that how the teaching and learning is related to publishing. And I'm going to give you some very, very important journals and links which will be very helpful for you. I'm sure about it, 200% sure about it. But just one thing, it'll be nice when we talk to each other. So as far as possible, better to interact with me. It will give me more confidence, and it will make the whole session more interactive and much more lasting. Thank you. Let's start from something which is this something which, okay. Let's start from something which we all know, but we don't do. We have to be really, really, brutally honest with this, that all of us don't do this. When we talk about the contemporary teaching, when we talk about the student engagement in the class, and especially in the present times, it is very important that we don't only kind of concentrate on our content. We don't only concentrate on what I'm going to cover in the class, or how far I'm going to go ahead with the content in terms of making the students available or practice for the assessment. This is something which maybe 25 years back was fine. It was really good, and once in a while we used to write some research, or we used to publish when we found something interesting is there. But now we cannot go ahead with that. It's not only about having good performance appraisals and you have to show your number of researchers or something like that. No, I'm not talking about that. When we are into teaching, we have to be much more responsible, and we are responsible to make our content more contemporary. We are responsible to make our content which is making our students more employable. And we will be only able to do that, ladies and gentlemen, when we are going to practice what we are teaching. Or at least, if we are not able to practice, like, I know there are limitations of being in particular setup. I have gone through it. So it's not always possible for us to go ahead and with our teaching responsibilities to go ahead and do some kind of consultancy. Sometimes even research is very difficult, I understand that. But nobody will has stopped us, and nobody will stop us, at least by underpinning the content which we are teaching by research. It is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. It will make you a very good teacher. So much of confidence in the process of teaching. You will be so updated on your own, even if you're not doing research, but at least keep your content updated and underpinned by research. And believe you me not, it is too much. It is too much possible. Why it is possible and how it is possible, I'm going to tell you. See, we have been working in a lot of different environments. Sometimes when we are teaching level 3 or foundation students, we have got handouts and things like that. It's okay, we have got some standard types of handouts. But when you are going to discuss those handouts with level 3, and when you are going to discuss the same topic with level 5 or level 6 students, or the passing out students, it is your responsibility to go and discuss and start the lesson person with some contemporary burning issue, some kind of research. And definitely for that, you have to practice. You have to read on your own. The moment you are going to read on your own, automatically you are underpinning the content with research. Maybe somehow you have not been able to include it in the handout. You have not been able to include it in your notes, but at least it is being included when the lecture is being recorded. It is being included in the student's mind. It is being included while you are discussing about it. So please, ladies and gentlemen, try to be more professional in your approach rather than providing that jug and mug kind of approach. Who knows that jug and mug approach? Anybody heard of it? What do you mean by jug and mug approach? Anybody has an idea?
Taking idea from the another paper and resemble it.
As a teacher, not bad, Shwet.
Yeah.
But as a teacher, when do we say you are adopting a jug and mug kind of approach and you are adopting a collaborative approach?
Like jug and mug means you are concentrated on yourself only. What the student are percepting, you haven't care about it. This is a
Almost
jug
there.
and mug.
Almost there. Jug and mug kind of approach. Whatever you wanted to deliver, you delivered. You just transferred or poured from one vessel to another. So that is jug and mug. And how much students have been learning, or whether students have learned or not, you are not basically concerned about it. So come out of it, because the moment you are going to come out of it, you will be such a popular teacher and you will be so confident. But for that, it will not happen, ladies and gentlemen, in one day. It will take time. And in the process of becoming a much more effective teacher, automatically you will become a you will initiate the research process, and after few years, maybe after 5 to 8 years or 10 years, you will see yourself in the consultancy area also. And that is very, very rewarding. It is not only rewarding in terms of tangible rewards, but it is also rewarding in terms of what you are actually doing with your students. So there has to be nexus, there has to be relationship between your teaching, between the research which you are doing or you are not doing, at least start doing from now, and the outreach to your students. I'm not going to talk about the society because that is something which is like at a higher level, self-actualization state, but at least try to do it in your own small ways. Okay. Now, tell me, okay, let me not switch into this particular. Why do you want to publish? What is your main objective of publishing? What do you want to share with people? Anyone?
The first thing that comes into the mind, or you first thing you want to publish a paper, that is that justification. Because if you are going for a thing that you have worked for so far, then how you evaluate yourself that the particular thing is you are doing a right direction or wrong direction. The justification is given by the journals, that is categorized into 3 groups like Scopus, SCI, and transaction. So
Okay.
it depends upon the work you have did so far.
So
Like,
basically you want to share your work with someone, right?
exactly.
And you want to get it kind of stamped. Okay, I am doing something which is relevant and which is applicable. Is it?
Exactly.
Okay, lovely.
You
Anyone?
can't judge yourself. It can be judged
Yes.
by the other people's.
Yes.
We
You
can
want your
share our,
you want your peers' opinion about your work, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Yes,
we can
Sartaj.
share our knowledge, and whatever knowledge we gain through reading the research papers. And if we are developing a new theory, that also we can share with others. We can explore our knowledge.
Lovely, Zartaz. It is again a very good point. Thank you, both of you. We sometimes what happens, we have read something and it is such a burning issue. You liked it so much, but you want to also, contribute in that particular field. Is it, Zartaz? Sometimes you want to modify the same kind of, framework, or you want to apply that model to your scenario, to your context. Did you mean this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Teaching is like sharing our knowledge with our students. So wherever we are in need, we will share our knowledge. We'll
Lovely.
grab each opportunity to share whatever we gain through research and through readings and through literature.
Lovely, lovely. Okay, anyone else? We have got so many people here. Anyone else would like to talk? Why do you want to publish? Why it is important to publish?
As a student perspective, like if you are a teacher, the people, the student are key to know about what a teacher is doing and what the teacher is. So meanwhile, they
Exactly.
want to follow the such a teacher who having a dynamic nature, who having a very fluency, who having a very smart teaching like of things. So they want
Yeah.
to, so that also encourage the student to
Mhm.
work on particular fleet, burning fleet that the, so that the overall contribution to the word will also increase.
Lovely. Yes, yes, Shwet, very, very relevant point. See, it is not why do we want to publish? As what you both have said, that is very, very important, very relevant. But sometimes what happens, and not sometimes, most of the times, in some or the other words, you people have said that you want to build your reputation, whether you want to build your reputation domestically in your home country, or whether you want to build your reputation in the whole teaching community across the world. So the first thing why we want to publish is the exchange of ideas, very, very important. And it is very important nowadays, remember this thing, that the exchange of ideas is happening at a much better pace, much faster pace than before when we started our career, when me and maybe Professor Dev Arora have started their careers. Then at that time, this information exchange, or the exchange of information, was not this much fast. But right now it is very much fast. If somebody has written a paper in New Zealand last week, I can read it now. I can read it now in terms of pre-publication process. There are so many websites where you can put your comments, where you can share your ideas before publishing also. So exchange of ideas is very important. As a teacher, when I'm able to enable and put myself in a situation where I'm able to exchange, where I'm able to contribute also. Now, don't be always on the receiving end. It is very important that you have to be contributing also. So publishing is very important. Publishing is a very, very important tool to exchange ideas. I'll just give you one example here. Like I teach few modules where research methods and entrepreneurship, and I had a very research active colleague, but he's not with me right now. What I did yesterday night, just before going to the bed, I thought, okay, let me have a chat with my earlier colleague. I will get some more ideas to discuss tomorrow morning. And the availability of that colleague, the availability of you as a dependable person, when you are actually research active. And research active doesn't mean that you are publishing every month, you are publishing every second month in Scopus based journal. That is not only being research active. That is one way of showing your output, publication or your journals. Your research activity also comes in terms of new ideas, in terms of helping someone, in terms of not only helping your students, but also helping other colleagues which have been there with you, which haven't been there with you, to collaborate. Some people, some of the teachers are very good at stats, some of the teachers are very good at ideas, some of the teachers are very good at writing, some of us are very good at compiling the whole thing in a very, very presentable way. So exchange of ideas is very important, and it will only come when we are going to collaborate. And that's why on my first slide, I just told that I'm not here to tell you something which you don't know. We all know in our own ways. We all have been exposed to different platforms, but this exposure maybe can change one's personality in a better way, or in a more refined way, where we have got something to share with you. The second very important thing, it builds reputation to you as an individual. It helps you building your own brand. Again, I'll give you this example, that before pandemic, I was taking a few workshop, these kind of requests and things, like maybe once in a year. But during pandemic, what happened, that obviously I'm teaching, but we are not going out, I'm not traveling, so I have been taking a lot of more requests for organizing workshops, or just being on the panel and all. It makes me uh, it makes me going. And I kind of share all these things, what I'm sharing with you, with my students. And I feel so good. And the students also think that, okay, there is some kind of reputation, there is some kind of brand, which is making, you know, Dr. Veena Tiwari bit different. I'm not saying I'm at a very, very high level or something, but bit different, because I'm telling them something, what happened in that workshop, what happened with my workshop with Bharati Vidyapeeth, what students told. So, and this is again landing me up in exchange of ideas with my students. I can call it outreach. You know, student who's in Muscat or who's in some village in a village in outer parts of Muscat, he or she doesn't know what's happening in India, because here some of the things are at a higher level, some of the things are at a lower level. So, but I am engaging them in the class, and that is what I want. Now, third very important thing is disseminating your work at a global scale. Now, the colleague which I'm talking about, he was here with me in Muscat, but right now he's based in Australia. And the kind of, dialogue which we had just for 10 minutes on Microsoft Teams, that was like so enriching for me. And I'm going to share the outcomes of that 10 minutes dialogue with you. So something which somebody thought in Australia, I perceived here, or I got it here in Muscat. I discussed with some of my other colleagues, and you sitting in India or in many other parts of the world, you are going to listen about that particular idea, or about the way how it happens, or you will get to know about some particular platform which you may not be knowing till now, or which you may be knowing, but you may not be knowing that particular aspect of that platform. So that's why publishing is very important. Except these very important points which I have written in red here, it's very, very easy nowadays. It is very, very kind of, normal nowadays to say something new, because we have been experiencing new ways of teaching. We have been experiencing new assessment types. We have been experiencing some kind of, thought-provoking process in terms of reflection, which I have read. Maybe it is applicable right now. I'm not talking only about the pandemic situation, but when you actually exchange your ideas, when you are in the classrooms, there are so many things which go around in your mind. Oh no, when students are doing some kind of activity, no, I could have explained it in this way. Okay, next class I'm going to do it in this way. Do I have something new to say? And is it like worth sharing by in the form of publication? Go ahead, do it, at least try it. And I have done it. Okay, let me come back again to it. A solution to a current or difficult problem. Now, this is something very, very basic, but we always forget. What is research? What are the two words which make the word research? What are those two words? Yes, anyone?
Re and search.
Re and search. Such a simple thing, re and search. So even if you don't have something new to say, you just search and just keep doing it. Because maybe in the same perspective, the same kind of idea, you just change the context and there will be something novel coming out of it. Do you have the guts to do it? Do you have the interest to do it? Do you really want to put yourself in that situation where somebody has already researched so much, but you are putting yourself again back into that, consumer behavior or consumer decision buying models or the accounting techniques? These are the issues. These are the areas which people have been researching, have been publishing, but do you really have time? Do you have interest to go and read and again read and come up with something new? Can you do a bibliometric study now on all the researches which have been published in the consumer behavior area? Yes, you can do it. And that is something new which everybody is looking for. And journals will go ahead and publish it so much. Do you have the interest of taking up the same researchable area or the topic in some other way? Are you providing, you have kind of, teaching since last 5 to 6 years, you have not published anything, but you have some kind of, specialized interest in service sector and you want to read about it. You want to go ahead and read the ecosystem or the something on the SDL, service dominant logic, in some other way, maybe in Indian perspective, maybe in Saudi Arabian perspective, maybe in Nigerian perspective. Go show it. But Show it with interest. Don't show it just for the sake of publishing. Don't do that. Or last but not the least, new development in some on some very hot topic, like for example, nowadays people are talking about so much about customer engagement. Now people are talking so much about changing their strategies during and post COVID situation. People are talking so much about machine learning, AI. Do you have something interesting to show there? Have you really come up with some kind of issue, or you were discussing it some kind of industry person, and you got an idea and you want to kind of relate to it, write about it, read about it more? Go ahead, do it, and you will get so many platforms to publish, to showcase your research, or just to showcase your idea. But you have to be on to it. You cannot be just on one Sunday, okay, I have got some time, let me do something, and then you forgot about it for 1 week or 2 weeks, and then again, oh, I was doing something. You were doing something 2 weeks back, ladies and gentlemen, on AI, and AI has been moving every day. You are thinking about that particular idea after 2 weeks. No, stop it. It is not relevant now. Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So be consistent, be persistent with your thought process, and keep it alive. I'm telling you, it works. And publishing is very, very important in following or in becoming a good researcher and ultimately a good teacher. Now, please, we are not going to argue on it that researchers are not good teachers or good teachers are not good researchers. Up to you. I'm just trying to tell you, I'm just trying to disseminate something which I have learned. So, but it is, as I have started on that particular note only, I'm going to tell you again that it is very, very important. It is crucial. It is the most important thing. If you want to become a good teacher, it is very important to be research active. That again, I'm saying that doesn't mean always publishing, but research active. Underpin your teaching with research, and somewhere down the line you will publish. Start slow, start with less aspirational magazines, newspapers, journals, and then go ahead with scopus and indexed and citation and factors. I'm also going to go ahead with on those things slowly. Can I go ahead, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Sid,
ma'am.
thanks for being there. And anyone else, if you want to stop me, please stop and discuss, because we are here for a pretty long time. It's okay. We are here to discuss. I'm here to just tell you what happened with me and what I'm doing, and what I have seen other very well-known researchers doing. Got the opportunity to meet some of the best of the people in advertising industry, in marketing, in service industry, and I'm going to share with that with you. So what are you publishing? It is not really necessary. Now, again, I'll give you one example. 2008, I'm talking about 2008. I was attending one conference in Turkey, Atlanta, and there was keynote session going on. I was a very small teacher in a very small way, in my own way, from India, and nobody else was there from India. So I had the most similarity, which was coming from the Asian side, like kind of. I met two of the researchers from Iran there. So that was something which I was kind of comfortable with, those two researchers who came from Iran. And by the way, because of my some kind of dialogue, not the research, I had somebody known from Australia, and I didn't know that in 2008, I don't know how many of you know about Professor Larry Doyer. He's one of the very, very eminent researchers, professors in the tourism area. At that time, I didn't have an idea. I was just discussing something with him on the email regarding my classes and things like that, but he was also present there. I'm just telling you how it happens and how you grow in your own field when you just be research active. So this was keynote session going on from someone else. So they were talking about some tourism in India. And, in 2008, I'm talking about at least, kind of 15, 16 years back, in fact, 17 years back. No, 12 years back. So how people used to perceive India, it's a land of snake charmers, and it's the land of this and that. Suddenly, drastically changed in 2012 or 2013, but at that time things were different. So somebody was talking, this happens like this in India, and I didn't want to speak from the audience, but it just came out, as a normal reaction. But this is something like this. This is a normal behavior. This is common sense. Believe me, after the keynote session, that particular person who was from Europe, he came to me, the keynote person. Oh, that was such a good, comment from your side. I just thought, ladies and gentlemen, this is a common sense. This is a common sense for us. It is something I don't have to even reflect or think. But what I'm trying to tell you is that when you are listening to these kind of people, you actually uh, get to start appreciating your own small abilities. You start appreciating your own good points, not only as a reflector, but also as a person from where you are coming from. You have such a rich background, but it's only that you haven't got a context or got a platform to share it. It just needs some confidence to speak. And people, if you're talking relevant, if you're talking something interesting, if it is making sense, people will come back to you for your normal behavior, for your common sense. And common sense doesn't build in a day. Common sense is just about the upbringing and things and exposure. So what I'm trying to tell you, it is not really necessary that you will publish only when there is something starkingly new, or there is something new method or some kind of results which none of the earlier researchers have published. Talk about something which people can relate to. Talk about something which people appreciate and utilize in their daily lives, because every day people don't talk about structural equation modeling in entrepreneurial intentions. People don't talk about or cannot relate to service dominant logic while selling something to their target customers. But this can make a lot of sense to people, to industry where you are going for consultancy. You can exchange your ideas just on the basis of your own reflections, on the basis of your own readings throughout the years. So don't be kind of what do you call don't bias yourself, don't limit yourself, be open. But your openness, your capabilities should be based on not on shallow knowledge, but on your readings, on your experience and what you have done till now. Have confidence, and that should not be shallow. Remember, that should not be shallow, because if it will be shallow, you will get it back. I'm going to share that also with you, that what happened with me when I was trying to be a bit more smarter without reading. I'm going to share that particular incident also with you. So are you publishing or reviewing somebody else's work? You are summarizing. That also can be published, but with the permission of that particular researcher, with the permission of that particular individual, and at a smaller scale. Are you maybe you have got some different kind of understanding of some kind of framework, some kind of model which has been there since 1980s, which has been there since 1970s, but none of the other researchers have looked into it or applied it in a certain context. Are you ready to do that? Go ahead, do it, but do it with interest and ready to be criticized. People will criticize you, but are you coming out with some kind of outcome which is worth sharing? Go ahead, share it. You don't have to be scared about it, whether it is right or wrong. In research, there is nothing right and wrong. It just depends on what kind of sample size you have taken, what kind of sample you have taken, what was your population. You can just review, research, redo the same thing, the same area, the same topic in a different context. Go ahead and do it, but don't plagiarize, please. Very, very no plagiarism at all. Your own idea, your own approach, and your own understanding, but you are always ready. You should be open to discuss it with others. Don't publish something which is outdated, and don't read also something which is outdated. This is very important nowadays. Now we can argue about it, that what is outdated. Something which is being published in 1986 may not be outdated, may be outdated. It depends on what kind of stuff you are reading and what you are actually going through. If you're talking about some kind of framework, model, theory, it will not be outdated. But if the paper is being published on the application of theory in 1986 in the retail sector, in the service sector, in the accounting standards, definitely that is outdated. But the main theory, the bottom line approach can be outdated, but the theoretical model will not be outdated. Don't publish, don't try to go ahead with something which I already told you, shallow, which is not acceptable, which is incorrect, which is not complete. Don't go ahead and publish it. First of all, it will not be published. You will get the critical reviews, which will boggle you down, which will demotivate you. So be ready to listen to the critical comments when you are actually ready with your work and you are not publishing or sharing something which is not fully done. So don't do that, because it is not good ethically also, and it is not good for you as an individual also, ladies and gentlemen. Any comments here? Any comments, anyone? Anyone? Any comments? Nothing? Should I go ahead?
Yes, ma'am, you can continue.
Okay, thank you. Okay, before I come to this particular slide or my thoughts on this, tell me honestly, how many of, when any one of you is teaching research, by the way, is teaching research to undergraduate or postgraduate students? Any one of you?
I was doing it before, but now I'm
Oh.
switched.
Okay, so when we were doing it, Shwet, right? Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Shwet, have you, it's okay, just be honest, okay? Because just we are discussing, it's not being defensive or something. Have you ever mentioned to your students about like up till what should be the scope of literature review to be included in the work? Have you ever mentioned it to your students?
Yeah, I have told all the things about it, starting from the abstract to the conclusion. I have told all the structure, all the things about each and every key points that they have to remember.
Shwet, my question is not about the structure of the proposal or the research or paper. I'm talking about, have you ever discussed with them what should be the scope in terms of the timing to be included in the literature review? Have you ever mentioned to it?
Yeah, I have mentioned it. Go for recently paper that is published in a 5 or 10 year lifespan. Don't go for paper that is published into 1996. If you're trying that you are telling that if you're trying with the application area, if you're writing on things like studies, then you can attach that particular paper that are the base paper of a particular technology or particular machine learning. You can go there for understanding what is going on that time. You can compare it from there. But don't go for the paper that is outdated, that you are also mentioning.
Right. Very good, Shwet. Yes. Anyone else? Anyone else who's teaching research? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I am guiding diploma students.
Right.
And yes.
Yeah.
So our students are very much after passing 10th like that. So they are not very much mature, but I am giving them to write about 5 literatures like that. And recently,
okay. So Zartaz, you want to say that you were telling them to how to summarize things and all. Maybe they are not doing the synthesis, but they are doing the summary of the information, right?
Yes, ma'am. Practicals, ma'am. Mostly they are doing practical study more, like case study. And 5 to 10 like literatures they are writing currently.
Okay, lovely. That's lovely. Thank you for that. See, I'll tell you the difference in terms of exposure as a teacher and how we grow also. I'm talking about now, I'm being honest with you. Don't be judgmental about me. In 2006, I was teaching research methodology. Okay, 2006. and now also I'm teaching research methodology. My whole approach of teaching research methodology has come like 360 degree, 180 degree change, and I'm back to somewhere else now when I'm teaching research methodology. But I have evolved so much. I'll be honest with you. When I was teaching in 2006, 6 or 7 somewhere, in India, at that time I was in India, and I was not knowing what are the crucial issues of talking when I'm talking about the literature review, what I should share with my students. And it was so difficult for me, ladies and gentlemen, to take 2.5 hours class. It was difficult because I was using only jug and mug approach. I have to cover this. I should be talking about abstract. I should be talking about what has to be included in the introduction. To be very frank, I was not knowing, because I was not knowing what is going on in their minds, because they were just coming there for the attendance, 2.5 hours attendance. But I was not having anything new to be discussed with them, how to approach the students, how to engage the students, because research methodology is not consumer behavior. I don't have content to cover. I had to teach them skills to be a good researcher, which maybe I myself didn't know how to be a good researcher. So if you yourself don't know how to be a good researcher, how can you teach a skill which is a transferable skill when you are not having it? Put yourself in that situation and be honest with you. That time when I was talking about structure, having introduction and research objectives and questions and literature review, I have never mentioned for 6 to 7 months that what should be the scope of the literature review. I never told them what is the difference between the summary of the information and synthesis of the information. And I can tell right now also that if I really want to do the synthesis of information from a paper which was being published in 2010 and do the synthesis of information from a paper which is being published in 2019, it will take me 2 days to do that, to write some 1,000 words, believe me. And you have to accept that thing yourself also. That synthesis of information is really, really difficult. And to teach synthesis of information, to understand synthesis of information, to come up with a literature review which can go ahead a part of a publication in a Scopus based journal is difficult. It is time-taking process. So as a teacher, when you are attempting to it, first of all, please understand that there is a difference between summarizing literature review and synthesis of literature review. I know all of you must be knowing, but let me just touch upon that. When we are talking about the literature review in the research proposal, whether I'm talking, when I'm seeking some kind of funds, or whether I'm writing my own publication, or I'm contributing to someone else's publication, the literature review, we take it for granted. Most of us, me too, we understand, but we take it for granted. It is the most important part of the whole process of research, because literature review is not about reading the previous researchers and summarizing it. Literature review, a good literature review comes handy when it is synthesized critically. And when we want to do the critical synthesis of information for my literature review, or to be included in the paper, which is a good paper, you have to compare, you have to criticize, you have to basically take the papers or researches from 1986 also, 1996 also, and 2016 also. And you're not just going to say they have stated this, or Richard and Anderson have stated this, Dr. Dev Arora has stated this. No, you have to state that in what context some A or B or C researcher has stated that particular information, that particular idea, and how it is different from today's ideas, and how it is related in your research. The last part is very, very important. Why you are including it in your research, in what way it is applicable in your research paper with your topic in your area, in the context where you are doing research. Is it an easy thing? No, it is not an easy thing. Most of the research methodology workshops and things like that, when we go ahead and be a part of it, people just keep talking about SPSS, people keep talking about how to do the SPSS. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to put your data in SPSS, some kind of result you are going to get, some kind of, what do you call, trial and error process, if you're going to have the proper variables. But from where variables are coming? Those are coming from literature review. Those are coming from that part of the part of your paper which is the most lengthy, which is the most important, and it is your responsibility to make it more interesting so that it is included in a Scopus based journal. And how many of us do that? Very few of us do that. Most of us are more concerned about methodology. What should I do? Whether I should put some kind of interesting figure in terms of AI, in terms of machine learning, which looks like, colorful, but how relevant? From where have you got the variables? Where have you got the idea? From where have you kind of modified the whole framework or modified the conceptual framework? It is coming from literature review, ladies and gentlemen. And literature review, to write a forward-looking structured literature review, is the most time-taking process. And there are some technicalities to it. The literature review is not just kind of, you have a good English, you are able to write. You have read some, 25 papers, you are able to write some 500 or 1,000 words. Did you listen to me properly? I said you have read 25 papers and you are going to write 1,000 words. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the relation? The literature review has to be kind of, triangle bottom-up approach. If you want to include some relevant 2,500 words, which is minimum in a proposal. I'm not talking about a research paper. In a research proposal, 2,500 words are minimum. For writing those 2,500 words, for utilizing those 2,500 words, ladies and gentlemen, you should be referring to at least 30, research papers or 30 resources, anything, any data, any kind of report or anything which is related to your area or the topic. Are you there with me? I hope you're not sleeping.
Yes, ma'am. Continue.
Thank you. So when we talk about publishing, we can definitely publish the full articles. And as I have been telling you, you can publish small letters, you can publish your reviews, you can publish few opinions. And you won't believe, in 2011, I got the opportunity of publishing in a very good journal, Anatolia. I don't know how many of you have heard about it. It is one of the best journals in the tourism sector. And I got my publication because I was interested in one of the books which was written by a very good professor in Australia, not Larry Doyer, but someone else. And I kind of read that book and I was so much interested in reviewing that book. I got the opportunity of publishing that review in Anatolia, which is like a highly, highly acclaimed journal. So it just depends that how much you are interested and how much is your work pressure allowing you to be indulged in research. I know I have been there. Still, I'm in a condition where I don't get a lot of time to be research active. But when maybe I'm not publishing, but I'm doing so many other things which are related to the research activities and research initiatives within the faculty, within my institution, and with my fellow colleagues outside my institution. So again, remember, publishing is not the only way, but publishing is the ultimate way of putting forward your research, your work in highly acclaimed manner. You can start with conference papers when you are going to, because we all know that when we are writing or when we intend to go to to present our papers in the conference, maybe the process is not that much tedious, the process is not that much time taking, but definitely when you are going to start presenting in the conferences, you are leading yourself on a right way, on the right path. Definitely somewhere down the line, you are going to publish those papers also. Again, you can be a part of the lab when you are going to go ahead with presenting the papers. Maybe the way you have presented the paper, it may click with some other fellow colleague, it may click with some industry person. Sorry, but I would like to tell you again a very good example. I was presenting a paper in Dubai, in Middlesex University, Dubai. Last year, I think it was May. Yeah, May 2019. And the paper was on service dominant logic to be used in retail sector in Oman. But the paper, it was not like I was not there with a lot of some kind of out of the way or black box thinking in terms of factor analysis or something. It was a very, very simple study where I utilized factor analysis, and I kind of showed that okay, these are the factors which can contribute to the service dominant logic or in customer engagement. The presentation clicked so nicely with one particular person who came from the industry. I gave presentations to that company afterwards. In another 3 to 4 months, I gave 5 presentations to for that particular brand online in Dubai, which was such a image booster for me. So are you getting from where I'm coming, guys?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Thank you. So please, again, it is not only about publishing, but it is very important. Publishing is also very important in contributing or in making your brand image or whatever you call it, in making you as a better teacher. But there are so many other things which make you research active. So reviews, letters, opinions, conference papers, articles, definitely, that's the ultimate aim. Now, stages you go through before submitting. The most important, the most time taking is the idea inception age. How are you conceiving the idea? And what I have learned in so many years, in last almost 2 decades, don't judge my age, by the way. Okay. The most important generation idea tool is your teaching and the kind of research you do yourself for your teaching. Do you agree with me? Any experiences? Anyone? Zartaz, you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Last year I have done a paper on my college, community college for girls, Jazan University. I was teaching and I was arguing with the male faculty on some certain topic. From there, I got an idea that we should write some paper on diversity management.
Lovely.
And
Yeah.
then I wrote diversity management, governance process, and diversity management in education sector.
So I'm making sense, Zartaz, right? Do you
Yes,
think?
Giving ideas and very interesting.
It is very, very, very important. And we kind of, we kind of undermine our own capabilities. All of us, we are like that. We always look upon to someone, look to someone who is doing good. It is always good to have a mentor. It is always good to have a guiding person, a guiding individual in your life. But at the same time, you also have to keep working. You also have to keep refining the way you teach the same lesson in your classes. And every semester, every cohort, when you are subjecting every cohort to your teaching, always remember, ladies and gentlemen, you reflect at the end of the Zartas, can you please mute your mic? Thank you. So you please, at the end of the semester or the cohort, when you are finishing your teaching, you reflect whether you're writing or not, whether you have to write a report or not. Forget about it. You yourself reflect, because all of us, whether with a lot of admin responsibilities, if I get time, all of us can get time. If Professor Dev gets time, all of us can get time, and it's about you. It's on you. So with whether you are, involved in administration, whatever teaching you are doing, please reflect that, okay, are you going to teach that same module, the same subject next semester? What have you done since last semester? What have you done new in this? What are you going to do new in the next semester? Please spend some 1 week in reflecting on that. The first idea of publishing will come from there. When you are going to discuss, as Zartaz was saying, you are going to discuss, you are going to tell, you are going to kind of, communicate to other colleagues, maybe in some small meetings, that, okay, have I really done something new? No, I have not done. Oh, why didn't I do? Okay, next semester, in the first week only, I'm going to do something new. How will I do? I have to read. The moment I am going to read, I'm going to get some new idea. And it's not really necessary that I'm going to read something which I'm going to just kind of jug and mug kind of approach I'm going to share. No, I have to see whether I'm teaching in Saudi Arabia, I'm teaching those classes in Australia, or I'm taking some online classes for Sri Lankan students, or I'm in Muscat. How can you change the context of the same information to be more relevant to your own audience, to be relevant to your own students? How can you connect with the students? How can you make the classes more long lasting? How can you make the whole learning process more long lasting? So idea will come from within. Try it. You will not be de-benefited. You will not be disadvantaged. You will get some kind of advantage from next week, from now onwards. Please try to do that. It is coming from your own teaching. It is coming from your own workplace. It is coming from your own physiological system and through your own discussions. After that, now what I used to do, which was absolutely wrong approach. What I used to do, I will write and then I will see, oh, which journal can I send it to? That's a wrong approach. Choose a journal and then start kind of elaborating and think what they have asked. And my other slides are also on that. Choosing a journal is very, very important. See, all of you, maybe your professors, your mentors, your seniors would be always telling you that, always narrow down your approach of research actions, or you always narrow your research areas. I don't believe on that. Personally, I don't believe on that, but that is my opinion. You may accept it, you may reject it. But what I have learned, when I'm getting the chances, when I'm getting the opportunities to be involved with so many different areas, with so many different modules, why can't I research in different areas? Why do I have to only research in consumer behavior? Why can't I research in entrepreneurship? Why can't I research in a cross-functional area where there is a direct impact of finance on marketing? I can do that because I'm teaching. Not only if I'm teaching marketing, I cannot have any kind of interest or any kind of adventure with finance, with accounting. No, I don't think so. And I think that has to be inculcated within us, and that is also going to give you an opportunity to collaborate with people from different functional areas. It will also improve your chances of getting published, ladies and gentlemen. It is when you are collaborating with people not from your own area, you are getting more exposure and you are making yourself available in terms of contributing in your own way in a novel area, in a way like I'll tell you, last week I have published a paper. It's not Scopus based, but it's a very good Sensei journal. I don't remember the full name, but the paper is coming with a researcher based in Netherlands who is very active in AI. What I have done, I have utilized the AI in service sector in Oman. The data was sent by me. He has kind of worked on that data with AI, and we have come up with a beautiful paper, got published at first go with one revision only. So if I'm not opening myself with new things, when everybody is telling me you have to include AI, you have to include digital marketing in your content, then why can't I research? I can research. Why should I be just talking about all those old consumer behavior theories, marketing management theories, and something which was being published in 1980s? Once again, it is just giving me an idea that how you are working on your own teaching, how you are making your own teaching more relevant, and how you are making your own students more employable. I hope I'm making sense. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Who's this? Anyone else? What's your name?
This is Socrates, research scholar economics, Jain University, Bangalore.
Lovely. Nice to hear you, Socrates.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, after that, when you have chosen the journal, you have the idea, you have chosen the journal, you are elaborating on it, read, read, and read. Read, just be there reading. Don't do anything else. You are on your phone, you are on your tab, you are having, outings with your family. Keep thinking about it. And this is not impossible. This happens. This happens. Even if, now I'm not just talking about kind of only publishing, like for example, you want to address some kind of group of students from other college. What are you going to talk about? What are they giving you some 30 minutes? Are they giving you some 2 hours? Please understand that I'm not only talking about publishing. I'm just talking about research as a wide area, as a wide action. Now, research, I'm being repetitive, but I am being repetitive that it is not only about publishing. So even if you have to address someone, even if you have to take a class after 2-3 weeks, think about it, keep thinking about it. Believe me, you will have such a miraculous class. People will come back and tell you, teacher, why can't I do like this? Why can't Socrates, can I think like this? Are you going to cover this particular thing? I have learned something, or I was going through that mall and whatever you have taught, I can relate to it. Those are the things which we want to hear from our students. And those are the things which are going to motivate us to research, to apply it in our own specialized way in the context from where we are coming or in the context where we are working. Next thing, even if you are going to address or when you are going to publish or when you are going to write, please write in a draft form. And nowadays, when we have got so many tools, I think using Google Doc is very, very important. It is very, very useful. Like, for example, again, I'm giving you my example. I got the opportunity of collaborating with someone to teach in executive program from University of Surrey, which is again a very good university. I got the opportunity to work with someone, and while we were taking classes, like we have to take classes together, while we were taking classes, his name is Richard Oxton. Richard came up with something very very nice example from the UK market, and I got so interested. After the class, I told him, why don't you write something on the Google Doc which you can share with me and I can share with my undergraduate student, something which he expressed in the executive class I wanted to share. And my undergraduate students got so much interested, you won't believe. 2 of the students from my undergraduate class, they are going to take the same topic next semester in their research method module. Now who this kind of thing happens, who is getting motivated? Definitely students are getting motivated, but I am getting motivated. I am getting a kick to collaborate, to write, to think all the time about something in which I'm related, or in which I'm interested, or in which I'm engaged with. Now, please, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't mean that you don't have your personal life, or you don't chill out or something, but it has to be there somewhere back in your mind. I think there cannot be any big movie freak than me. But then at the same time, I'm really proud that I'm doing things which I always wanted to do as a researcher. I'm doing things, I'm getting opportunities which I always wanted to do as a teacher with all my students. And it is coming from the exposure, and it is coming from my own initiatives. Own initiatives are also very, very important. Imagine a situation, you have published some 10 papers in last 3 years in Scopus-based journals, but when you go to the class, you don't have anything to share with your students. Would you like to put yourself in that kind of situation? Any one of you?
No, we don't want that.
Definitely, you don't want that. And I don't want you to be there. Anyone for that matter. So everything should be kind of in a reviewed process, and everything should be in a way where you are getting motivated in a subtle way to do everything, teaching, research and outreach. Outreach in today's times is very, very important. And outreach is, I think earlier, maybe it was like more research and then teaching and then outreach. But nowadays, I think outreach is the focal point and then teaching and research. Outreach is very important in today's times. You have written the first draft. When you are writing the draft, you can use, as I was telling you, sorry, I just got kind of deviated. You can use Google Doc, you can use so many things, you know, Paddle is there. You can just put forward some questions to your students also to get some ideas. You can use Kahoot, you can use your own internal systems. All of us have our own internal systems of communicating with teachers, with students. So you can put across there. We have got discussion forums, we have got chats, so many things are there. Of course, we have got emails, which we hardly use and which students hardly see, by the way. So when you have written the first draft, it is very important to get a feedback, and don't be afraid to get a critical feedback, as I have mentioned earlier, from someone who you know is positively critical, somebody who's going to give you a feedback which will not offend you. And they will also not be thinking that if I'm going to write something wrong, if I'm going to write my honest opinion, it is going to offend. For that, you have to change your own personality also. I have been with people, I have seen people who are not ready to take a negative comment, who are not very open with the honest feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not taking a personality class, but that is something which we have to inculcate in our personal lives also, in our professional lives also. It's okay, you cannot be always right. It is not like, you know, if you have come up with some burning idea which you think is a burning idea, may not be a burning idea. It's fine, it's perfectly fine. And your students are going to tell me, at least it is happening with me so many times. You know, I have read something, not always, but so many times, and I'm sharing with my students, and students comes up and says, oh, but Dr. Veena, we already do it in that way. Okay, you do it in that way. Okay, fine. That means I am lagging somewhere in my own approach. I must be more updated. And that's again fine, totally fine. In the same way, when I'm talking about your first draft feedback, give it to someone. Like I have got like I am very good in having good relationships with earlier colleagues, with someone whom I always look up to. So the colleague which I'm talking about is in Australia right now. He's very respectfully, whenever I tell him, he takes his own time, but he will always give me a feedback. Veena, this is wrong. Veena, this should be put it in this way, or maybe this idea should come here. Maybe literature review is not that good. Not always, but most of the time. But that doesn't mean that you always bother. But yes, you should be able to adopt and integrate those kind of points and feedback for your future writings. That's very, very, very important. At this point, I'm going to again share my own example. Now, this also happened in, I think, 2008. Yeah, 2008. I still remember because I only know in what kind of situation I felt I was. I was taking a module, I think it was global service management or something like that. Global service management. And I did such a good, it was also for executive, like weekly we used to have classes in India only. It was for executive class, and I was addressing to a group of 7 people, I remember, from the industry. And I was so prepared. I read everything from the book, and, you know, I was so full of enthusiasm and confidence, definitely. But I didn't know that what is going to happen to me in another 10 minutes when I'm going to start the class. I started on a very good note. I remember it was a round table and not a class kind of thing. Small board was there. I won't give you the institute's name. So I started, okay, 30 minutes passed. I think 20, 25 or 30 minutes passed. At that time, I didn't used to give so much of time also for students to speak, just because I was so much full of kind of, you know, I have to cover this, I have to cover that. So after, I think, almost 30 minutes, one of the student, of course, he was a student in the class. Dr. Veena, are you going to tell us something which is not there in the books? This was the feedback which I got with in just 30 minutes of the class. I had to take the class for 3 hours. How will you feel? How will you feel if somebody says like that?
We will feel embarrassed, ma'am. What I
And,
personally feel.
and
And you will shame on yourself that what you are doing.
I didn't feel embarrassed, but I was like kind of bit taken aback.
Yes.
Why, Shwet? I'll tell you why I was not embarrassed. Because what I was talking about, it was making sense. It was relevant to the module. But the thing was that I didn't expect what is my student, what is my audience. What is going to be my audience? I thought I'm kind of teaching postgraduate students normal MBAs, which I used to do. I didn't know that they already had the industry experience. So definitely I had to also kind of prepare myself for that. In the same way, when you are writing, whether you are writing an opinion, whether you are writing a review of a book, or whether you are writing kind of starting to write a paper, who's your audience? And you are able to get to know your audience when you are going to research about the journal, aims and scopes of the journal, about the paper and everything. Who's the editor? What is the background of the editor? Who all are on the reviewers panel? I don't know whether I'm making sense to you right now, but if you are actually into researching, if you're actually into publishing, you will understand how important it is. If you're going to start the publishing process, if you're going to start your outreaching capabilities and initiatives, you will understand what I'm talking about. It is very important to know for whom you are writing, in what journal you are intending to publish, who's your editor, what is written in the call of papers. Is it some kind of special call of papers, or it is a normal issue which comes like by quarterly or whatever it is? So you have to spend, if not equal, at least quarter of a time in researching a journal, in researching the platform, in researching the background for whom you are writing, for whom you are speaking, or for whom you are addressing, even if you are addressing 1 hour. Fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you are getting to get the kind of feedback at that time, as I told you, I didn't feel ashamed, but I was a bit taken aback. And what I did, I stopped the class there. I said, why don't we do one thing? Why don't we meet day after tomorrow, and I'll be ready. I'm going to come extra time just to cover for this class. And I personally think I did a very right thing at that particular point of time, because I was not prepared. First of all, I was not prepared to share anything because I didn't read. Basically, I didn't have the kind of exposure of teaching the executive class before that. But Shwet, that was the day, and today is the day when I teach executives from Germany in a smaller way. The whole of Europe, two students can join the class. I teach a class per month where executives come from all over Europe, and my class hours are 3.5. Believe me, it goes up to 4 hours minimum. But I'm not kind of telling you that, I'm not telling you or any one of you about me, but I'm telling you how the exposure and the approach and the pedagogy changes with your own exposure, with your own critical reviews or the feedback which you get. I have shared here at the end of the presentation, I have shared the review which I got on my first case, the case which I have written for the first time. I'm going to share with you after some time. If I would have boggled down with that kind of feedback, I would not be writing cases right now for Emerald Journal. I'm not writing like regularly, but whatever I write with a lot of passion. The cases which I write, which I'm contributing or which I'm writing for my, for in the department, I write cases for marketing to be shared with all the students, even if I'm not publishing. on the basis of travel, on the basis of, talking to the industry people, or whatever small things I do in the field of research. So take the feedback with open mind, take the feedback thinking, understanding, perceiving that you are not correct always. But the idea generation or the inception of idea, even that was not wrong. You had the courage of putting forward your idea is more than enough. But after that, please keep utilizing, keep working on the drafts, keep working on the comments, check the notes from the other contributors if you're collaborating with others, and proofread. It is not shameful to give your work for proofreading, even with professional charges. We have to understand that English is our second language, and we are not ashamed of it. We are not born with English language skills. So it's fine. It's always okay if you can afford, if the team of the researcher, they are agreeing that, okay, we have to pay to a professional agency, professional body to proofread my work, please go ahead and do it. It is not shameful thing. And later only you submit, because I also review the work and I see that there is a very promising idea, there is a very promising methodology, there is a lot of contribution in terms of new contribution in the area, but when it comes to the language, the paper lacks at such a basic level. So it is fine to proofread your work. How many of you have paid to read your work ever in your life? Have you paid ever? Hello?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, I have paid once.
Okay. I have paid. And
That
I don't have any qualms.
you are targeting. Like if you're targeting the journal where the editor was from US or from Europe, they want specific on English only. They want
Go ahead.
English than the other journals too. Because recently I have published 2 papers. The first the editor from Spain. The other, I think from the other country, I do not remember it. So same type of paper I have written. The English is I'm the writer of the paper, but some want English native English writer, and someone had published paper without it. So it depends upon the journal and editing committee that what they are targeting and what they want in the paper.
I agree with you, Shwet. That's why it is very important to understand and know who are the editors. But at the same time, I would just like to give you a clue. If you have the capability, not capability, like if you have the connections to include someone with native English speaking background, it is always good to do that also. But at the same time, if you don't want to share your work, it's fine to pay. It's okay. And in fact, it's not always necessary that the journals from US or UK only always want to have a good English, but all the good journals across the world, even if you want to publish with IIM Ahmedabad journal, then also your English must be acceptable enough to be understood from someone from a reader coming from Spain or from a reader coming from US, because they also want to have maintain these standards. So it's fine as long as you can afford it and as long as it is going to help you with your publication. Okay. And if, by the way, if just a minute, sorry to interrupt you. If, by the way, you cannot pay, now what I do, sometimes I tell my English colleagues to, proofread my work over a cup of coffee, definitely. So you can do that also.
We have do that. The problem is that they want a specific type of English because
sometimes
you can't do that. I have reviewed my paper to 15 people. We are Indian, ma'am. You know that we are not grammatically wrong.
Yes, we are not.
Grammatically right.
Mostly, not always.
Ma'am, if the 15% are reviewing that paper, then almost all the things using Grammarly and other stuff, all the grammatical mistake has been carried out. But they want some, fancy words and other stuff in the abstract and other stuff. That's why we are lacking. We are not very much familiar about the fancy of the words.
Shwet, can I comment on that if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Yeah. this is just my observation. Okay. Now, if by the way you have got some kind of comment on the abstract, especially on the language of the abstract, maybe, I'm not saying that it was language, but maybe because some of the journals which I have seen, some of the journals, they want it in a very, very precise way, like 2 lines about the topic, 2 lines about the gap, 2 lines about your contribution, 2 lines about your methodology. So it is not only about the vocabulary, ornamental vocabulary, but it is sometimes it is about the structure, and mostly it is about what do they want in the abstract. Maybe we perceive it in a way that, okay, they want a particular word, maybe for example, we are writing that since 2010 nobody has attempted this kind of study. Maybe I have written like this, or you have written like this, which is grammatically fine, but they don't want nobody has attempted this kind of study in the retail sector. Maybe they want it in a way, this paper will contribute in the retail sector in a particular blah 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 way. I hope I'm making sense, Shwet. So sometimes, and it is so difficult to write a good abstract. It is so difficult. By God's grace, again, I think last month, after a very, very long time, I have been accepted by a journal whose impact factor is something around four, I think. But abstract, I have given 5 revisions only in the abstract. The team, that means the team. The paper was, they were fine with the paper, but they were not ready. And third reviewer was so, I'm sorry to use this word, but I mean it, nasty with the comments. But then, okay, we didn't kind of put our foot down. Okay, we kept on reviewing, we kept on giving, we kept on writing, but ultimately, by God's grace, it got accepted. But at the same time, I will also give you one example. Another paper, this called journal. Shwet, please be with me here. The journal was not Scopus based, normal journal. I went ahead with 11 what do you call revisions, but ultimately they wanted me to revise. I didn't. I just put my foot forward down that, okay, I cannot do it. I just couldn't do it, even it was not Scopus based. And then finally I kind of published somewhere else, which I shouldn't have done after so much of work. But then, sometimes it's just that you want to go ahead types.
I got four revisions.
Yes.
The revision and other one, or like small minor revisions. That you're mentioning that abstract and other stuff, they are fine with my abstract, but they want a native English writer, some certificate of that. Some journals are very, key to
particular.
They want that, so I would give it that. The impact factor of the journal is 4.89, so I'm okay with that because that is a particular good journal.
Yeah, yes.
Meanwhile, I have published the paper in the different journal. That is the impact factor is 3.49, but
yes.
they have published it out without any problem. That is a Springer journal.
Thank you for that, Shwet. Thank you. Okay, how do you choose a journal? Vaishali, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Vaishali, I just need to go and get some water, and I want to switch on the AC here. So
okay, no issues, ma'am.
Can we take some 5 minutes break, please?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you. Hi. So how many of you spend time in choosing the right journal? If, by the way, you want to publish.
About 2 week it will take near about.
Definitely, I agree with you. I agree with you. Anyone else? Anyone else? How much time do you take? Do you agree with this particular idea that sometimes when we are thinking about the journals and when we are researching about the journals, that which one should I go ahead with, you get the idea to write a different paper. Has it happened with you ever?
Yeah,
Have
it
it happened?
happens.
Yes, it happens. Maybe while we are thinking, or when we are researching about the journal, what happens that in the process of learning about the journal, we get to start to write about something which we never wanted. So very, very important thing is that we have to know the audience, and you are going to get to know the audience, that who's going to read, who is your potential reader in terms of what you are going to write. You are going to learn and you are going to understand about it when you are going to spend time on the journal's website. And I'm going to give you some links also from where you will get to know that what journal is where and what they write about and what they are basically covering. Okay, please be with me and answer me. Do you write an article for a specific journal, or you find a journal for your article? See, be honest and tell me.
Depend upon the, sometime we target the journal and sometime we just write the article and after it we search the journals.
Now, there is Taylor and Francis, you all know. There was a research done by Taylor and Francis journal itself in 2016. And according to that research, it came, the outcome came that 30% of the authors, only 30% of the authors, they write for a specific journals. And 70% of us, people like us, we write and then we panic that where to publish and what to do and things like that. So even if we come in majority, at least be okay that, oh, okay, we are doing something. But most of us, we are in majority, in 70% kind of that kind of segment. But if you really want to go ahead with and you want to have a very good kind of outcome, you want to be a very good researcher only in terms of your publications, then it is better that you start writing for a specific journal. I have started doing it only 4 years back. It's a time taking process, but it is then at the same time, it is rewarding also. It is quite rewarding process also. So try doing that now. Uh, why should we, and of course, we don't need to go through it. We should be reading the aims and scopes of the journal to understand that what is the journal about and for whom we are writing. So in the process, when we basically understand in the beginning that for whom we are writing, it will make things easier for us. It will make our thought process much more, task oriented. It will try to make us spending our efforts in a much more effective manner, rather than just writing something and then looking for where to publish. And what happens in that process, I'm talking about from my own experience, we end up publishing somewhere which is not very acclaimed. The platform will not be very acclaimed, but yes, at the end of the day, we are going to publish, and maybe if we are lucky enough, we are going to get some citations also. So if you want to go and find out about the journal, I think this is a good kind of platform. Have you used it? tanfonline.com. If you have not used it, maybe some of you who have started working on the publications, you can utilize it. Have you taken the note of it?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. I want to switch on the video. I don't know where, maybe later. Because I want to be like more live, but it's okay. I think it's...
One thing I just
yeah.
that Taylor and Francis, that particular you're talking about the survey that Taylor, that the 70% people are, are doing the second type of thing, not trying the first type of thing that you're talking about, the first
Right.
selection. So what happens? Sometimes there is, if you are targeting a specific journal, suppose X journal you are targeting, but sometime it happens they have, they have rejected your paper on the first site. Then that is a DEX rejection. Sometime it happens. I had faced this problem couple of times. So that time your morale will be down because you have targeted the specific journal for writing this type of journal. So at purpose.
Agree with you, Shwet. Agree with you. And that is what happened. I told you, no, like the journal was not very acclaimed, also quite acclaimed, but still I went for 11 revisions. And I ended up not publishing in it. So it happens. And you are 100% right. We all go through that kind of situation. But again, Shwet, I'll just try to kind of give you another situation and to motivate you also, Shwet, that I was attending one of the seminars from a person who has got, I think, 2000 plus citations on Google Scholar. I have got the opportunity to work with him. He works here only in my institution, and he keeps taking workshops for us. And he told that we have the individual told us, all of us, that if you have already gone through that kind of process, I know, he knows, we all know that what we undergo while getting rejections, but we should not put our foot down. That's what he tells. But I did this before attending his workshop and before attending to his session. So maybe don't try doing that now. At least go ahead with the same journal, Shwet, and maybe the fruits will come a bit later, but they will come. So now don't do it. Now I don't do it. If I'm kind of eyeing on a particular journal, even after a lot of rejections, until they have said, okay, fine, we are not going ahead. In fact, in my last paper, what I did, I kind of challenged. I'm just giving you an example. I kind of challenged the reviewer also. The team of authors, we challenged the reviewer for a particular comment where I told you that the third reviewer was quite nasty because we were so confident about what we have written. And there were two reviewers gave very good comment, and good means they also told us to revise. And after revision, after doing everything, the third reviewer has come up and told that we are not going ahead with the publication. So we kind of challenged the reviewer. So the ultimate thing, the bottom line is that we should not put our foot down. If we are going ahead with the initial stages with a good journal, my suggestion is keep doing that. Keep persisting and be with them unless you have been rejected fully. Okay, Shwet?
If you permit me, I will share a story from it.
Go ahead.
The IEEE censor journal that all is know about the IEEE censor. That factor is 3 point something. They want a paper not more than 8 pages.
Okay.
Summarize the paper and write about they targeted that particular journal, and that paper has gone to the review process. And one of the reviewer has key that that paper would be published, and second one has a serious obligation on it. The paper, because IEEE want that the two positive responses, then only the paper. Reject the paper. That particular paper, because I have targeted the IEEE censor, that paper is not going to publish in other scenario like Springer and Elsevier or any other thing, because that is a very short paper. And what I see from the comment for the other publisher, that your paper is too short, try to modify it. How can modify it? I have precised that paper. It is so difficult to target a paper and write it. And when it got rejected, you have no way to go. That is my personal observation that I have did so far. If the person is new and he is writing the paper and targeting the journal, and if that particular person got that type of encouragement, so that is a big issue.
That's why I'm here talking to you, Shwet. that I'm for the people who have just started publishing and people who have just started their career with the research and outreach. I'm here to motivate you guys, and I'm kind of sharing all bad and good experiences with all of you, and definitely you are going to learn something, if not everything. Okay, Shwet. But this survey, which I have shared with you, which was done by Taylor and Francis, it was being done in 2016. So if you come to the kind of relevancy of it, I personally believe that I think if I would have been so persistent with the journals since my earlier stages of career, maybe I would have more publications. So just my suggestion, but yes, it is difficult. It is difficult. And that's why it is the tip to here is you have to join the conversation with your contributors. I don't know how many of you have written the cover letter with your publications or with your submissions. Some of us, we don't even write the cover letter, and it is such an important thing that even some of the journals don't ask for it outrightly, but then it is very important to have the cover letter. And cover letter is a kind of medium, is kind of a moment of truth where we get to know the editors, where we are where we have started the conversation with the editors. So it is very important to not being offended or being defensive about what you have worked on or what you have written. It is better to kind of start a conversation and get to know their ideas and get to understand what do they really want. I know it is very time taking, it is very patient, it demands a lot of patience, but I think we should do that. Just a suggestion. Okay.
Way you're submitting the journal in elsewhere, they want that the cover letter with the conflict of interest. They want two things with the manuscript. So the people used to do that. Springer won't want or ask, but some of
Springer don't want.
the particular elsewhere want that.
But my personal suggestion is where I think you were talking about where they want it as a file, as a mandatory file. But I'm not talking about that. Even if you are just submitting to the administrative person or the submission guy, not the editor, it is always better. It's my suggestion again. Take or don't take, it depends on you and your experiences and your exposure, but I think it is always better to write a small nice precise covering letter about why have you come up with this kind of a paper, or why have you written this paper, and what do you want to propose, and why are you sending it to that particular journal, even if they are not asking for it. Now, when we are talking about conversation, when we are talking about starting the conversation, it is very important. I'm sure you all know that what are the touch points, and it is very important to know about the publisher. It is very important, definitely. When I said that you need to know about the journal, it is very important to know about the website. It is very important to talk to your peers, as I have been giving you a lot of instances where I have been talking to my colleagues, my mentors, my seniors, my juniors, even my students, and it give you kind of conversation, an opportunity to converse, and an opportunity to transfer some kind of ideas. It is very important to understand that are you picking a domestic journal, as I think I have mentioned it in the beginning also, that do you want to publish in an international journal in your own country? Are you going ahead with the scope? Are you going ahead with the region? Like, for example, if today I say I want to publish in the journal of entrepreneurship, or theoretical journal of entrepreneurship, talking about the theories of entrepreneurship and all, it is such an it is such an inspirational thing for which I'm not ready. So on the basis of your own exposure, on the basis of what you have done till now, please understand and then choose the journal's aims and scope. Again, you can check the journal's aims and scope on this particular website. Please take a note of it. I hope it is visible. Vaishali? For somebody who's new here, it will be quite helpful. Have you taken a note of it, all of you? Okay, can I go ahead?
Yeah, ma'am.
Should I? Okay. Have you taken a note? Now, know your audience. We have been talking about it. When we are talking about the journal, you should be knowing that who's the editor, editorial board. Editorial board is very, very important, very important. One of the most important factors before really submitting your work to a particular journal. And then the publisher, about the publisher, the background of the publisher, as I think Shweta or someone else has mentioned, that from where they are coming from, where is the journal based. It can be any part of the Europe, maybe some part of Europe, they are very particular. In fact, you know, there are researchers which have been done on the rejection levels or the rejections of the best of the journals across the world. So if a particular acclaimed journal is coming from a particular region, there is a research paper done. Right now I have not got it, but there is a research which is being done that how that particular journal has rejected papers coming from a particular region and why they have accepted paper coming from a particular region. So you have to know the publisher, you have to know the base of the journal. Who is your reader? Definitely from the journal where it is coming from. The readership basically is being directed or oriented from the type of journal, online, print, or both, or impact factor, peer review process. Peer review process is very important to understand, to know, to modify the paper in a proper way or in the accepted manner. And last but not the least, what is the submission process, whether the journal is an open access journal or not. So when you are going through all this, you know, somebody can say out, someone from you only can kind of argue, or maybe if I would be listening to this 20 years back, I would be thinking that, oh gosh, do I really need to spend so much of time here on this particular action or on these kind of activities before really I kind of submit? I would be rejecting the idea. But nobody told me at that point of time. But I am telling you, if you are starting your career with this kind of an intention, you want to be a very good, impactful researcher, please do that. Please do this. Very, very important. It is going to help you in building a proper picture about the journal, in understanding the stages, that what is your writing is going to go through. And it is very important to understand, like how we visualize ourselves, that how we are going to go through a particular brand experience. In the same way, it is a kind of brand building exercise for yourself. So it is very important to understand that what is your paper going to go through, what kind of stages you are going to go through. It is very important to understand. Please spend time. Take it as a suggestion from a teacher, take it as a suggestion from a senior, but please do this. Okay, can I go ahead? Guys, I need some acknowledgement. Not only Shwet. Thank you, Shwet, for unmuting, but anyone else? Should I go ahead?
Yes,
You're not
ma'am.
sleeping?
No, of course, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Can I say yes?
Yes. Thank you.
Going on. Dr. Vida, it is
Yes.
as per convenience of you and all participants. You can announce break whenever you require. It's
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, all platform is your, all keys with you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. I was thinking I was not seeing any face. Thank you. Now here, this is very, very important. Now this particular research, again, it is being done on the open access journals. And I think it was done in 2012. So not very relevant right now, but I wanted to share it with you. I wanted to share it with you because it shows that if whatever kind of submissions come to the open access journals, what kind of opinion editors or the reviewers make about those papers. Now, 18% of those submissions were only engaging. 56.8 engaging is there. Engagement is there in those submissions. That means they are accepting it, but then they are not useful. They are engaging, but they are not useful. So basically, it is about the application, but it is not being written in a proper way. 6.3% of the submissions were unusable and not well designed. they 15.3% of the submissions were maybe engaging, useful, but were not being designed properly. So definitely you are going to be rejected. This particular research was done in 2012, but I just wanted to share with you just to motivate you that even if you are rejected, even if you are being rejected thrice, 4 times, please be persistent and don't kind of, you are not stoppable. You should be writing, you should be showcasing, you should be thinking, checking, rechecking, drafting, redrafting, submitting, because that is something which you should not stop. If you really want to be a good teacher, you are not doing it to be only building towards building your brand, but you want to be a very engaging good teacher for your students also. And ultimately, publishing in a reputable journal is one of our tasks which any forward looking, engaging, smart teacher should do. Is it giving any thoughts in your minds, this particular survey, or not? This is taken, the submissions have been taken only for the open access journals. Any comments, anyone? Socrates, you want to say something? I can see.
Actually, yes, ma'am. Especially when it comes to empirical papers, like you spend too much time on the data collection, data analysis, and you think you've done something great, and you will take that for granted that the paper will be published, but then you will be surprised that not because it's not good, but maybe it's how you present your data, how you um, like
Put forward.
organize. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
And
just
Socrates, what I was when I was preparing, to engage with you people, I was just concerned about this 18%. This engagement is there, but still they're not useful. So and I think our papers are basically in this category,
totally.
which we think that we have done a pretty fine job, but it is engaging, it is application based, but still it is not useful. So again, I'm going back to the point from where I started, that it is not really every time you will not be successful. Every time it is not possible to publish, but there is something which you have done. There is something which you can always share with your students, with your, what do you call, audiences at any platform, if not publishing. So when we are talking about the thinking, checking, submitting, so do you and your colleagues know the journal? Very, very important. And why I have written here colleagues, because I am talking about, it is a bit difficult. I'm not saying that it is always impossible. It is a bit difficult to write an acceptable paper in an acceptable manner alone, because you really, it is the rule of the game. Collaboration is the rule of the game. So you have to be collaborative enough. You have to be open-minded. So it is not, if by the way you are working in a pair, or you are working with 2 or 3 of your colleagues, or any other individual from any other part of the world, it is not only because because the point of contact is only you, so you should be only knowing the journal. Please don't underestimate this point, that all of the individuals who have been contributing in the paper, in your publication, should know the journal at the same level. Is the journal clear about the type of peer review that it uses? Then again, see here it is a very, very important point. Sometimes there is a clash, there is a kind of challenging kind of situation between the editor and the reviewer. So is the reviewing process fine? It is clear for the audiences, it is clear for the people who are going to submit with the journal. You also have to be clear as a team that with what process or how your paper has to be kind of going through, with what stages it is going to go through. You should be all clear about it. Can you easily identify and contact the publisher? Very important, because it can be identified by the time which the journal has taken to get back to you. Is the publisher a member of recognized industry initiative? Again, it plays a very, very important role. I have seen in my own case, when the publisher is being from the industry, Generally those kind of publishers are more open for new ideas. Those kind of publishers are more open for anything novel in a particular field or in a particular topic. So I think it is very important when we are talking about the checklist, you should be taking care, you should be thinking, you should be reflecting on these 4 points. I'm not going to discuss so much about the citation, because we all know, being the part of the teaching community, teaching fraternity, researchers community, we all know that the citations really matter. Citations on any kind of acclaimed platform, they matter. Sometimes what happens, and you must have gone through this kind of a situation, that we ultimately end up publishing with not so acclaimed journal, but we get citations. It happened with me way back in 2011. The publication, I didn't know that where I'm presenting the paper is going to be published with IEEE, because I'm not from the engineering background. I was not knowing also, I was not being exposed so much, but that is one of the papers where I have got the highest citations. I have not got too much citations, but that is one of the papers where I have got the citations, and I'm really happy about it. So citations matrix, scopus, and indexing, they really matter a lot. What is an open access journal? Professor Arora, should we take a break? Then
I told it's all platform is yours.
Yeah, so I think let's take a break of, what is the time in India right now? I think.
Ma'am, it's 12:40.
12:40.
Yes, you can take the break of 30 minutes.
Okay.
It's depend. Those are cooking lunch, they can take 45 minutes.
I thought we will take for 20 minutes, but it's okay.
All right. So 40 minutes is okay. Yeah, 30 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, what do you want? You want to see me back 20, 30? How many minutes should I take?
Ma'am, 30 minutes is fine.
Okay, thank you. Socrates, call me Veena. Dr. Veena, not ma'am.
It seems we are young.
It's a kind of short.
Yeah.
Dr. Veena. Right. So after 30 minutes, sharp.
Sure.
With us, everyone. Have a happy lunch. And Dr. Veena, have a happy breakfast.
Yes.
For you? Yeah. Good. Brunch. Yeah.
Thank you.
Enjoy.